Hi, I'm Laura Ingeman with the City of Lee Summit's Creative Services Department. Welcome to our monthly show that gives you a glimpse into the city that we love, the Lee Summit Rundown. Have you ever wondered how a water tower works? Me too. You'll be able to impress your friends with these water tower fun facts after watching this segment.
So we have 4 water towers in Lee Summit. The smallest water tower is 2.5 million gallons, and the largest one is 3 million gallons. Water is not only stored in water towers, but we also have standpipe at Harris Park. If you've ever been to the Harris Park Community Pool or the Community Center, you'll see that huge standpipe there. They're all can serve anywhere, so that holds water for that part of town. Lee Summit purchases their water from Kansas City and Independence, and they pump their water to us. And then we take that water and we pump it into our system to build up the pressure in the system. There is a requirement to maintain a certain amount of water in the entire system for the use of fire protection. There's 2 ways to get water to people's houses. Those 2 ways are water towers or pumps. And what you do with each is you build up pressure within the water system itself in order to push water to people's faucets. In pumping systems, you basically have a pump that speeds up real fast and pushes the water out into the system, and that creates pressure. Water towers also create pressure, and they do that by storing the water in the air. So for every 2.31 feet you go up, equates to 1 pound of pressure. The way it works, there's always pressure in the water system, and that's how water ends up going everywhere. When there's a low demand and not a lot of people are using water, that pressure in the water system tends to rise because there's no releasing of that pressure. Depending on the level in the water tower, the pressure in the system could be less or it could be more than what the water tower itself is creating. So in low demand times, those tanks tend to fill up because the pressure in the system is more than what the pressure in the water tank is creating. In high demand times, those towers tend to drain out to feed more water into the system because it's starving for that pressure. So really water towers are used to create pressure within the water system.
The Lee Summit Police Department just finished a renovation on their building. It's quite fancy. Let's take a tour.
Our building is now over 20 years old, and as time has gone and Lee Summit has grown, so has the police department and the needs of the services that we give to the community. So we found that the biggest bang for our buck would be to renovate our building instead of building new. So with that, we started back in 2018, did a space needs study, found that we could maximize a lot of the space within here to give us the extra space we needed for the additional growth that we need. The space needs study proved that we could gain the extra space we needed to prepare for the additional employees in the future within the footprint that we already had. Our workforce has become much more diverse now. Our women in law enforcement has grown, and Lee Summit is no different. The locker room was at full capacity. That's one example of the areas that we needed to grow. Additionally, our detective unit is maxed out, so we were able to find ways to refigure that area and gain some additional workspace for that unit. Moving forward with security enhancements and different rules and laws that have changed over time, we found that we were lacking in areas of security, primarily in our lobby. We were able to beef up our lobby security, but still provide that open and welcoming experience for all of our customers. Our project was funded from 2019, no tax increase bond. The bond was passed originally for $19 million, and that was for additional uses other than just the police department. It was considered a public safety enhancement initiative. We've gained more space, which I think helps people spread out, but also I think work efficiency. We've seen the workflow improve throughout the building. And again, those security enhancements, there's probably just an added sense of security within our employee base, but also for the public that comes, that we service each day. This was a challenging project. For one, we lived through the project. So We decided to stay in this construction space as we did this. We did move our operations division out, which was about 90 employees, but that meant the other half of our employee base, 100, stayed, and we lived through the construction process. While challenging, it was interesting to see the spaces change and advance, but I think collectively we're all glad to be done and have that behind us.
I know we don't want to think about it, but it's almost snow season. The annual Public Works Snow Rodeo is where drivers get to compete and practice while in snowplows. It also gives employees the opportunity to drive a snowplow and decide if they'd like to volunteer during winter storms.
Well, the Snowplow Rodeo definitely helps our group of guys in Public Works, as long as inspections, water department, police, fire, anywhere we can get extra help throughout the wintertime, gives them the skills that they can learn out here just to get used to the equipment and any of our new equipment, especially wing plows, which is new this year. And the course has been completely redesigned from the past probably 10 years of having the same route and the same cones and pins to hit. This year they've incorporated a whole new wing plow course, so you can use that in here to get really familiar with that. And that's pretty important because most all of our trucks are eventually going to have wing plows, which minimizes a lot of plowing time when you have the extra 6 to 8 feet out beside you. And with all of that too, it's a lot of fun, and everybody accumulates points. And we come to the finals today, and it goes from the top 10 down to the top 3 in the severe duty, the large trucks, or even the 1 tons for the top 10. And it's a lot of fun. And I think everybody seems to learn a lot and takes that knowledge right back to this winter. And we could use their help, and at least they have an idea of what to expect out on the streets. But if you just have an idea of how the truck works, you treat it like a car or any truck that you drive in the winter, and you'll actually do just fine. And you can run your 12-hour shift perfect. And we've been doing it for a long time ourselves, and it becomes second nature. And that's the best part. And the equipment's a lot better. Every year you get new equipment, or every few years you get new equipment, it's getting better. First things first is get familiar with the truck. When you get into the truck for the first time, you'll have plenty of time to get down the wing plow, you'll get down how to run the front plow. This right here is the most important because you need to know how each of those plows work in control. Because if you get out in the middle of a storm, you've never even been behind the wheel of one, it's gonna be very stressful, especially when you're trying to deal with slick roads and all that. This at least gives you that idea of what to expect, how that truck works. That'll eliminate that problem, saying, I know how to run the plow now. I know how that spreader turns on. Now I can concentrate on just driving, making sure I can hit everything just right and not, plow just fine with no accidents or whatever. And it works pretty good. That's the biggest goal out here, I think, is just to familiarize with the trucks. Once you get going, you're timed. And they try to keep between 4:45 to 5:15 on time. And as you go through, you'll hit the pins. You can go by sound and all that. And it's a little tedious. You just got to relax and not worry about the time. Just pace yourself. If you hear those little dinks from the pins falling down, you're doing just fine. Try not to hit cones. Don't hit barrels. Watch your backing and have fun with it. So you're basically having fun, but you're learning. And I think it becomes not second nature because, everything changes, but over time, it works out pretty good. A lot of times I think the public might be aware that we do this. I don't know, it's put out there that, we practice and all that. And the biggest thing with the public is, for us, on our side, is just they have an understanding that what we're trying to do. And please be patient, bear with us. Just watch when we're coming. We're out there just like them, having to do our job, and they got to get to their job. And just be it's always the patience. I always say that every year. And we're going to get it done. We're trying to get everything cleared for you. And understand it's very tedious, especially with these trucks, especially the extra plow on the side. We have a lot we got to watch and control. And we can't stop as fast, but just bear with us and we all get through it just fine.
This month's Council Spotlight focuses on longtime Councilmember Diane Forte. Check it out.
Just voicing some concerns that a lot of people have done. I'm Diane Forte, and I represent District 1. I've been in politics before. I was on a school board many years ago. When I recognize things that need to be done, I like to be a part of the solution. City Council was never really on my radar until a prominent person in Lee Summit before that election said, I really think you need to run. And I said, I've never been on any kind of planning commission or any committee with the city. And I will quote him as he said, You have common sense, and that's what we need. So that's what helped me make the decision to run. I'm a really strong fiscal person, so I served on the budget a long time. I think you have to find those things that you really like, and you will find the committees and you will find the community there to express yourself in all of those. Is that something that you think you could do and bring something back to this committee? I've been on Public Works, which I loved. I've been on CEDC. I've been chair of CEDC for the last 3 years, I think. That economic development is very much a part of my DNA too, of how we merge those together with city. So CEDC's been great. I've been on budget. I'm on rules this year. So I've been on a lot of liaisons. A couple of them I thought I didn't want to. That's not what me. And I've gone on them and I've gotten off those committees and been sad that I'm not on them anymore because I learned a lot. Open-mindedness. I will say for the last 3 years, I have been so much more of I've been a better council member than I was in the early stages. And I had a good friend tell me one time that you just need to sit there for a little bit, watch people and I have watched other city council meetings, so I know the decorum, and I think that's helped me. So yeah, I would just always say be yourself and be involved and listen. I do everything with the Ben Franklin close. Positives on one side, negatives on the other, and that's how I'll usually try and solve things. I will always say one of the most proud moments I have is when Arnold Hall became 3rd Street Social. And I was a part of that, and I'll always be very proud of that. We moved here in 1995, and it was so much smaller. Traffic was so much less. It's just changed a lot, and yet it feels the same. But the growth is basically because people like me won't stop talking about it. Because I've always loved Lee Summit, the community. I've always been involved. I was chair of the chamber, and I've been involved in Rotary and downtown. I was on the board of the downtown Main Street. It's always been part of my DNA to just get involved. The whole time I've been on council, my biggest priority has always been to keep a community feel, not a big city feel, but a community, and always has been because I represent downtown. So my heart is the downtown. A lot of cities are trying to emulate that. We had it first, and I think ours is still better. It seems like it's been forever I've been on council, and it seems like it's been yesterday. But I truly, truly believe in this community. I truly love City of Lee Summit.
Thanks for watching this edition of the Lee Summit Rundown. I'm your host, Laura Ingeman.